Sua clareza mental pode voltar com uma simples colher de mel. Pensei que chegaria ao ponto de esquecer quem eu era. Tudo começou devagar. Eu esquecia onde colocava as chaves, repetia as mesmas perguntas várias vezes e entrava em um cômodo sem lembrar o que tinha ido fazer. Depois começaram os esquecimentos mais dolorosos. Esqueci o aniversário da minha neta. Esqueci o nome de um vizinho que conhecia há mais de 20 anos. Teve um dia que fiquei alguns segundos olhando para um parente tentando lembrar o nome dele. Aquilo me assustou. Minha família ficou preocupada e decidiu me levar para uma clínica especializada em cuidados para idosos. Eu me sentia perdido, confuso e com medo. Parecia que minha mente estava desaparecendo aos poucos. Foi lá que conheci uma cuidadora muito gentil. Todas as manhãs ela chegava com uma colher e me dava uma mistura caseira. Eu perguntava o que era. Ela apenas sorria e dizia: "Toma, faz bem para a memória." Passaram-se alguns dias, comecei a me sentir mais atento. As palavras vinham mais rápido, já não esquecia tantas coisas. Algumas semanas depois, eu estava lembrando conversas, nomes e acontecimentos que pareciam apagados da minha cabeça. Foi quando resolvi insistir e perguntar novamente o que tinha naquela colher. Ela me contou que era mel misturado com mais um ingrediente especial, mas disse que não podia revelar qual era porque tinha aprendido através de um vídeo que explicava o preparo completo e o jeito certo de fazer. Naquele momento eu não dei muita importância, mas quando percebi o quanto minha vida tinha mudado, fui atrás desse vídeo e hoje agradeço por ter feito isso. Voltei a participar das conversas sem ficar perdido. Voltei a lembrar dos compromissos, voltei a me sentir eu mesmo. Não estou dizendo que foi mágica, só sei que aquilo me devolveu uma esperança que eu já tinha perdido. Por isso decidi compartilhar esse vídeo também, porque eu sei que existem milhares de famílias sofrendo com esquecimentos, névoa mental e aquela sensação de ver alguém querido se afastando aos poucos. Então, se você tem um pai, uma mãe, um avô, uma avó ou qualquer pessoa da família passando por isso, assista ao vídeo. Vou deixar o link aqui embaixo. Clique no botão Saiba Mais e veja o passo a passo completo enquanto ele ainda está disponível. Pode ser uma informação valiosa para alguém que você ama.
There are moments in life when everything feels loud. Too much information, too much pressure, too many expectations competing for your attention every single day. And in the middle of all that noise, many people quietly begin searching for something different. Not only achievement, not only productivity, but peace, a sense of balance, a sense of clarity, a feeling that life can be experienced more intentionally, because real well-being is not something external. It is something you feel internally. It is the ability to wake up without emotional heaviness, the ability to breathe deeply and feel present, the ability to move through your day with calmness instead of constant tension. And sometimes the first step toward a better life is simply slowing down long enough to reconnect with yourself, to become aware of your thoughts, your routines, your energy, your environment, because the way you experience life is often connected to the way you care for your inner world. Your mind influences your perspective. Your perspective influences your actions. And over time, your actions begin shaping the quality of your daily experience. Small choices matter. The way you speak to yourself matters. The environments you spend time in matter. The energy you surround yourself with matters. Everything gradually contributes to the direction your life begins moving toward. This is why many people today are becoming more intentional, more aware of what they consume mentally, more aware of how stress affects the body, more aware of the importance of emotional balance and mental clarity. Because modern life moves quickly, and without awareness, it becomes easy to live disconnected from yourself, constantly reacting, constantly comparing, constantly overwhelmed. But there is another way to experience life. A calmer way. A more grounded way. A more balanced and intentional way. And it begins internally, not with perfection, not with pressure, but with awareness, with small moments of presence repeated consistently over time. A quiet morning, a healthier routine, a more focused mind, a calmer emotional state. These things may seem simple, but they can completely change how a person experiences life. Because when your internal world becomes calmer, your external experiences often begin to feel different too. You notice more opportunities. You think more clearly. You respond instead of react. You begin moving through life with greater intention. And perhaps that is one of the most valuable forms of growth. Not becoming someone else, but becoming more connected to who you already are underneath stress and distraction. There is something powerful about emotional clarity. Something powerful about feeling centered. When the mind feels scattered, everything feels heavier. Simple tasks feel exhausting. Decisions feel confusing. Even rest becomes difficult. But when the mind feels balanced, life often feels lighter, not because problems disappear instantly, but because your relationship with those problems changes. You begin responding with more calmness, more patience, more perspective, and over time, that shift affects many different areas of life. Your relationships, your focus, your routines, your goals, your overall sense of fulfillment, because true prosperity is not only about external results, it is also about the quality of your internal experience while building your life. A peaceful mind has value. A healthy routine has value. Emotional balance has value. The ability to feel present in your own life has value. And in today's world, that kind of balance has become increasingly important. There will always be distractions. Always another comparison, another opinion, another pressure trying to pull your attention away from what truly matters. But the more intentional you become, the more clearly you begin seeing what deserves your energy and what does not. And that awareness changes everything. Because energy is valuable, your attention is valuable, your peace is valuable, and protecting those things can completely transform the way your life feels over time. Many people spend years believing they need to constantly rush in order to create a meaningful life. But sometimes clarity comes through slowing down, through becoming more present, through learning how to create space internally, space to think clearly, space to breathe deeply, space to reconnect with yourself without constant noise competing for your attention. And when that space begins to exist, something interesting happens. You start noticing what truly matters to you, not what the world expects from you, not what social pressure demands from you, but what genuinely brings meaning, fulfillment, and balance into your life. For some people, that means improving their routines. For others, it means prioritizing health and rest. For others, it means reconnecting emotionally with themselves after years of constant pressure. Every journey looks different. There is no single formula for fulfillment. But there is one thing many people eventually discover. A more intentional life often begins with a calmer mind, because clarity changes the way you move through the world. It changes the way you communicate, the way you make decisions, the way you respond to challenges. Instead of constantly feeling emotionally overloaded, you begin approaching life with greater steadiness, greater patience, greater awareness, and over time, those small internal changes begin creating meaningful external shifts. Not overnight, not dramatically, but gradually, naturally, one step at a time. This is important to remember. Growth does not need to feel extreme to be real. Some of the most meaningful transformations happen quietly. A healthier habit, a better conversation with yourself, more intentional boundaries, more emotional awareness, more moments of gratitude throughout the day. These things matter more than many people realize, because your daily experience is built through repeated moments, repeated thoughts, repeated habits, repeated environments, and when those things improve consistently, life often begins feeling more aligned, more balanced, more fulfilling. This is not about chasing perfection. Perfection creates pressure. This is about creating a lifestyle that supports your well-being instead of constantly draining it. A lifestyle where your mind feels clearer, your energy feels lighter, your routines feel healthier, your emotional state feels more stable, and perhaps most importantly, a lifestyle where you feel connected to your own life again, because many people today are physically present, but emotionally disconnected. Always distracted, always mentally somewhere else, always thinking about the next thing before fully experiencing the current moment. But presence matters. The ability to fully experience your own life matters. The ability to appreciate simple moments matters. A peaceful morning, a deep breath, a calm evening, a meaningful conversation. These moments may seem small, but over time, they shape the emotional quality of your life. And often, the people who appear the most grounded are not necessarily the people with the most external success. They are the people who learned how to create internal balance, who learned how to protect their peace, who learned how to stop carrying unnecessary emotional noise every single day, and that kind of balance influences everything. Your creativity, your relationships, your confidence, your ability to focus, your ability to enjoy life while building it. Because what is the purpose of achievement if you never feel present enough to experience it? This is why well-being matters. Not as a trend, not as a luxury, but as an essential part of living intentionally. A healthy mind influences the way you experience everything else.